idea that it was going to be a $1 ticket. Well, my goodness, now the tickets are up to like $50 you can go. And 49% of the money was going to go for education, and 49% for environmental issues, and then 2% were going to go for problem gambling. Well, everybody thought that was a great idea because for education, we're going to lower our property taxes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what happened was when it was negotiated as to how that percentage would be distributed, instead of it being given per student, per community, every school district has to apply for a grant from this fund, and it has to be for an innovational program. And so if the school district goes down and says, we'd like $10,000 because we'd like to start a class in basket weaving, and they get the grant for 1 year, go back to their school district, implement it, and they find out the kids really like basket weaving, we're going to keep that class going for the next year, but it's not going to be funded the next year. Your school budget is going to go up as a result of the innovative programming.
Right.
So the public is being deceived when they think, well, when I'm buying a lottery ticket, I'm helping the schools.
Right.
No, you're not.
No.
You're helping the budget of the schools go up higher.
Yes. Oh, isn't that awful? What legislative bills in Nebraska do we need to be on the lookout for this year?
Well, it's really early, and so they've only had 3 or 4 days to put in, so they'll start dropping off. But there's still hundreds of them, not ours. Right now, there's 4 of them. There's OB6. Bob Chris has a bill in there, and I've talked to his aide about it yesterday, and it's to establish a problem gambling commission. Well, the antennas go up anytime you see anything like that. What is this? Is this a new bureaucracy? What is it? But his aide assured me yesterday that Bob Christ was concerned about how the problem gambling money is being distributed, and is it going to the people who really need it, and that he feels this commission would help that. So we're going to watch it. We're going to investigate it more, but it looks like that might be innocuous. We've got 2 senators down there. I call them the gambling twins, and one is Russ Karbachek from Wilbur, and the other is Schumacher from Columbus.
Okay.
Now, for years, Mr. Schumacher and I stood on one side of the glass. He was a lobbyist for various things, but he also owns 300 locations for Keno. And so we were on that. Well, Mr. Schumacher got himself elected, and he is now on the other side of the glass. And there are 2 Keno bills, that expansion that's been introduced, but he doesn't do it. He gets his twin, Mr. Karbachek, to do it. So Mr. Karbachek has put in the same old, let's shorten the time. Right now, for years and years, it's been 5 minutes between Keno games. And then last year they came back and said, let's take it down to 1 minute. They compromised on 3. They got it out on the floor. We fought it. We defeated it.
Good job. I remember that.
Yeah. So same thing this year. So it just, this just is wear you down. Every year
exactly.
They want to see if you're alive or dead, and how many letters you can generate, how many phone calls you can generate. Do people still care? Because the minute you let your guard down,
yes,
they're there.
Citizens, there's no rest for you. So I hope you're taking your notes that this is an issue that you want to support with Pat. Okay.
So he's got the Keno time one, and then he's got another one that I really need to look at. He wants to stop the Keno license for, apparently the people that conduct the games have to be licensed, and he wants that done away with. So we'll have to look at those 2 so far. And then Bo McCoy, who's always been a great friend of Gambling with a Good Life, he has a bill in regarding the number of days for the horse tracks. I don't know if you remember in the paper last week, they just did this farce of a race in Lincoln, and they raced 3 poor horses through a frozen track for 13 seconds, called it a race, so that they could extend their license to do simulcast for 1 more year.
Okay, yes, I remember hearing the controversy over that.
I mean, it's just pathetic that what they will do, because it's not about saving live racing. It's the same situation that happened in Council Bluffs. Let's save the dogs.
Yeah, they're fulfilling the requirements. So
the minute they got the slot machines, and now they have 67,000 square feet over at Horseshoe, the dogs, where are the dogs? They're out back running around the cage to hold the license, and every year they go back to the Iowa legislature and say, please, we'll give you millions if you let us dump the dogs. That's exactly what's going to happen in all the horse tracks. because unfortunately we've never opposed it, but horse racing is a dying industry. The younger population is geared to speed. They want faster gambling, faster gambling. They're not the type that goes to the track, spends the day and studies the statistics. So, but simulcast, which was the 300 television sets that's over at the racetrack in Omaha, that was sold to the legislature years ago, that would save live racing. Give us simulcast, let us broadcast races from around the country, let us have people come in and gamble on those, and we'll save live racing. No, it's not doing it. They're taking the money from simulcast and they're keeping it. They're not doing what Exarban used to do with the horse track. They used to buy ambulances for communities and scholarships and fire trucks and all of that. That's not being done anymore. All that simulcast money is being kept for private interests. And the horses get to run a couple days a year just to hold the license. Well, now they're coming back, and we need to look at Bo's bill because they want to limit the days to maybe 1 day a year and hold the license. Well, that's a fraud on the public. That's not the reason simulcast was given.
Right.
You know, if you're going to have simulcast, then support the horse industry. Don't shove them off to the side and desert them. And so I know there's quite a dispute between those two industries now. The true horsemen who have the horses and care about them, and the guys that are running the simulcasts, and I call them the gambling mafia.
Okay. All right. Are there any other bills there?
Right now there's only 4, but we'll just hold our breath and see. You know, we had mixed emotions about the elections. There were some senators that we lost that were excellent, either for term limits or because they lost, that were great supporters of ours. It's a question of going down and educating, because if the senator really is open-minded and we show him the facts, this is what it's going to do to your community. This is, yes, you may get $1 over here, but they're going to take $3 out of your pocket over here to pay for the damages, the collateral damages. And is it worth it? Is it worth it to be able to get a little money and build a playground when you know 2 or 3 families have been destroyed by that?
Right, and not only destroyed, but again, the burden going back to the taxpayers, because some of those people are double dipping, because when they run out, they spend their money at the gambling, then they need food for their kids, then they get assistance, and so it's just a never-ending cycle. And of course, you know, we are not talking about the people who just, you know, go over maybe once a month or whatever for, you know, with a group of friends, and just, you know, we're talking about people who wake up thinking, eating, drinking, gambling, that next bet.
It's a small percentage, but when you consider it in the long term, it's a lot of people that are hurt. They say for every person that gets addicted, there's 17 collateral. I mean, their families, their employers, their friends that are all hurt, damaged by this one person's behavior. And if you've ever gone over to the casinos in Council Bluffs, by the way, they're all owned by Nevada, then, so the money's being taken out by armored trucks. It's not staying in Iowa or Nebraska. But if you ever go over there in the afternoon or at late in the middle of the night, you're just going to see people that are so addicted, that are elderly, they're using walkers, they're using oxygen tanks, they have keepers with them. We saw one lady sitting on a stool in between 2 slot machines, just pushing the buttons. I mean, she was in what they call the zone.
Okay.
The casinos are not interested in the $10 losers, the people that come over for a cheap dinner and spend. No, they know their market. They're masters at marketing. And they get all your information so you can be in the players club and slide your little card in there, because they're going to start marketing you. They know how long you've sat at that machine. They know how they can come over and pat you on the shoulder and say, we'd like you to stay for dinner and here's a free coupon. And they send you mail when you get back home, invite you back. They know what your weakness is and they prey on it. You know, there's no conscience. And if you would ask these seniors, well, and they take them over by busloads from the nursing homes. It's just horrible. This is entertainment. But when our elderly have expanded all of their savings, we don't put our elderly on the curb. You're going to be paying it.
Right.
Whether you ever go into that casino, you're going to be paying for it. So all of your costs are going to be going up. So it's not a victimless crime.
No, it isn't, and I'm so glad that I had you on the show, because there's so much of this background information that, you know, the average citizen, we don't know about these particulars to it. All we know is what we get, the propaganda out there to encourage gambling, so we don't get the backside story to it. So, and then you mentioned too that the money doesn't stay in Iowa. Because those casinos are owned by Nevada, so the majority of the money goes back there.
There's a small percentage, you know, that
right,
states. And that's the hard part, because when you do get it in your budget, and it's just a small part, but say there's $1 million, $10 million profit a year, try getting that out once it's in.
Right.
Because then they go, what are we going to do to replace that? Well, you don't think that it's costing you $30 million to keep it in, but the politicians just see the bottom dollar. They see the money that they do get. They don't realize that, well, why are all these other costs going up? And
it's like it's brain surgery. Is it brain surgery that what we're talking about? Well, Pat, we're getting ready to close out the show. We just have a few minutes left. So how can citizens get involved to support your effort?
Well, we have a website, gamblingwiththegoodlife.com. We would love to have people just on our database so that we can keep them informed. I send out news headlines, and I try to keep people informed when we have something down there that we'd love people to come and testify on. We love the stories. Personal stories is what will touch the hearts of those senators when they're considering putting a bill out.
Okay, so to take action and be kept informed, you keep everybody informed. They just need to get on your email list.
Yeah.
And so your email address again is,
well,
or through the website.
Okay. That'll put it through, and then I personally send out regular updates. I don't abuse the privilege, but there's times, and we can tell by zip codes, and contact those people with those senators and say, would you please, this bill's coming up next week, would you please ask your senator to vote no?
Okay, well, Pat, thank you so much for being on our show. The information that you brought us has been really helpful. It's educated us, and now we know what to do out there, right? Okay. All right, well, now next week's guest is Patrick Bonnet. I think he's going to be talking with us about the petition to oppose the homosexual protection ordinance. So we'll get more from Patrick next week. And then, so thank you for tuning in. Of course, all of the things that we talk about on my show, you can find up on my website at thesusansmithshow.wordpress.com, and you can get in touch with me through there. See you next week.
So bright.